So if January was hibernation and February was sort of coming out of sleep and hitting the snooze button, March is the alarm is blaring, you're jolted out of bed, and it's time to get up and get going. The energy of March is so dynamic. It's actually one of the most dynamic months of 2025. This energy is unmatched, and there's so much going on this month, I almost don't know where to begin. First of all, it is the natural new year, so happy new year. Number two, it's eclipse season, so you know how that goes. A lot of erratic, crazy kind of energy. And we've got two retrogrades, Venus and Mercury, at the same damn time. So honey, if you think that things were slow and stagnant before, that is all going to change in the month of March. All right, so as you can tell, this video is all about the astrology for the month of March 2025. All right, so stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If this is our first time meeting, welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. All right. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this video is all about the astrology for March 2025. All right. And like I said before in the intro, this is going to feel like drama almost. This is going to feel like so much energy, so much happening. It's like you're going to feel like you're going from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. Okay. We've got this energy of renewal since Aries season begins in March, and it's the natural new year. It is eclipse season. And rather than having a regular new moon and a full moon this month, we are having a full moon lunar eclipse and a new moon solar eclipse. Honey, it's a lot. And then we've got 2 retrogrades. We've got Venus going retrograde, which I did a video all about. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And we've got our fan favorite Mercury retrograde, which always brings fun and excitement, right? Right. And then we end the month with a huge, and I mean huge, energetic shift as Neptune leaves Pisces momentarily and moves into Aries. And honey, the flavor of that is something we haven't experienced in a really long time. So to say that the energy of March is dynamic is an understatement. All right. So before we get into all the details, you know me, I've always got to sort of wrap things up in a nice little box. So let's talk about the themes for March. All right. So if I had to sum up the energy of March and put it into a concise theme, that theme would be reflect, release, and react. All right. You know, your girl loves some alliteration. So reflect, release, and react. So let's talk about reflect. This definitely reflects the fact that we've got 2 retrogrades, namely Venus and Mercury. So the ability to reflect is going to be heavy this month. And this is important, right? It sort of leads into the react part, but I'll get into that in a second. Reflection before action is definitely going to be your best friend this month. With all this dynamic energy going on, you may be feeling impulsive. You may be feeling spontaneous, even to just take action, especially since things have been so slow over the last couple of months. However, Venus and Mercury retrograde will kind of be tugging at your coattails and getting you to slow down a little bit and to think before you act. Okay. Now, when it comes to release, we have 2 eclipses this month, but release really pertains to the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo. This is going to be a full moon eclipse that is going to require us to relinquish things that are either a part of our daily routine, but most importantly, relinquish things that we really need to let go of, things that have overstayed their welcome. And so you definitely don't want to resist the opportunity to release these things. As difficult or as challenging as it may be, releasing is also going to be your best friend during the month of March. And then finally, we have react. And this has everything to do with the plethora of Aries energy that's going on this month. So we have the sun moving into Aries, which is the natural new year. We've got Venus is going to be retrograde in Aries. Mercury is going to be retrograde in Aries. The new moon solar eclipse is going to happen in the sign of Aries. And Neptune is going into Aries. All right. If that doesn't say take action, I don't know what does. All right. Now, I put react because with everything going on, particularly with the reflection that we're going to be doing thanks to the retrogrades, it will be time to take action. It will be time to move forward. And thankfully, like I said, that reflection part of the theme will hopefully get you to not be too impulsive. However, this plethora of Aries energy may feel like a cattle prod, right? Especially if since we've been in hibernation for so long, it's like a hot ass cattle prod that jolts you up and gets you moving, which is definitely not necessarily a bad thing. It's time to get things underway. It's time to use the energy that we've been storing up for so long. Now, Aries is ruled by Mars. And at this time, during the month of March, Mars will be direct. Now, technically speaking, it's still going to be in its shadow period, but we're not going to feel the effects of Mars retrograde as we have over the last couple of months.
Hey friends, Editing Mel here. I just want to let you know that there might be some spots in this video where you hear my dog barking so loud in the background, for which I apologize. I'm not sure why she was barking, but trust me, she's fine. She's a Leo, so you know she likes attention. And typically whenever I'm recording videos, she likes to scratch at the door. She tries to get my attention in typical Leo fashion. But anyway, please forgive the barking dog. She's perfectly fine. And hopefully maybe soon she'll even make an appearance.
So we've stored up our energy, we've rested, and now it's time to move forward in a way that perhaps we haven't in a very long time. So March is a month that's kind of a mixed bag. We're reflecting and taking our time. We're releasing what no longer serves us, and we are being cattle prodded into taking some action. All right, lots going on. Okay, so now let's get into the specifics and talk about the astrology for the month. All right, so the month opens up on March 1st with Venus going retrograde in the sign of Aries. Now, like I said before, I did a whole video on this. The link will be in the description box below so you can check it out. But honestly, if you want to know more about any of these things that are happening in the month, then definitely tune into my live weekly astro forecast where I go in detail with respect to the astrology for that particular week, which will cover everything I'm about to talk about right now. All right. I go live every Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Set a notification so you don't miss it, so you get all this good information. Okay. So like I said, we start off the month on March 1st with Venus going retrograde. Issues related to love, money, fairness, self-worth, self-esteem are going to come up for review. Now, Venus is going to be starting her retrograde in Aries and then moving into Pisces. And like I said in that video, it's alpha and omega. There's something about this Venus retrograde that's going to be all encompassing. It's going to be from soup to nuts, from A to Z, everything. And this is important. And as we look at it in the grander scheme of things, you can't just take every transit like it's in a bubble or in a vacuum, right? 2025 is a year of transformation, okay? It's a 9 universal year. We've got so many planets in the sign of Aries this year. It's about action and initiation. So the retrogrades this year, I find, are going to be extremely important because they're going to fine tune you so that when you do take action with all of this Aries energy, depending on what action you take, it's going to be well informed, or at least it should be, because you've had the opportunity to reflect, recalibrate, do all the things that retrogrades do. And with Venus retrograde, when it comes to love and money, if you are looking to change anything this year with all of this dynamic energy, use this Venus retrograde to your advantage. All right. Now, Venus will be retrograde from March 1st through April 12th. So throughout the month, Venus will be moving backward in the sky. All right. And it gives us the opportunity for a redo and a recalibration, which is beautiful. Okay. Then next up on March 3rd, we've got Mercury entering Aries. Okay. Now, Mercury is also going to be going retrograde this month, but on March 3rd, it will still be direct and it will be entering the sign of Aries. And this has a lot to do with proactive speech, new ideas, bold ideas, speaking your mind bluntly and with no filter. If you're looking to implement anything new, remember that everything begins in the mind before we see it in our reality. And Mercury in Aries allows you to think of something new. Think of a new plan, a new way of communicating. Open your mouth. I feel like the phrase for Mercury in Aries is a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Okay, so open that mouth. Exercise that throat chakra and start something new. That's exactly what Mercury is going to want you to do. Now, keep in mind, Mercury is going to be going retrograde very shortly after it enters Aries. So starting something new, but also keeping in mind that you're going to have to backtrack a little bit. So what this looks like in reality is that you start something new and then you fine tune it and you kind of rework it while Mercury is retrograde, okay? Then next up on March 14th, we have that full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. Now, of course, I'm gonna do a whole dedicated video to this, so I'm not gonna go too in-depth here, but this is gonna be a moon that's going to show you a lot in a way that may feel quite uncomfortable, okay? Virgo is the perfectionist. Virgo loves the details, and with the moon shining brightly, in an eclipse in the sign of Virgo, it's going to show you all the details. It's going to show you where you didn't dot your I's and cross your T's. It's going to show you perhaps where you messed up, where things are a little less than perfect, which can be frustrating, annoying, whatever, right? But it's going to show you where you can, what's the phrase I want to use? It's going to show you where you can make improvements and perfect certain things. But the most important facet of this full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo is that it's going to be conjunct the South Node. And so when I was talking about releasing earlier, that's why, that's one of the themes for this month. It's because that South Node is like, listen, whatever you've relied on, whatever you're sort of comfortable with, you kind of have to move past that. It's time to get a little uncomfortable, venture out of your comfort zone in a way that you're going to feel very viscerally, because Virgo is not only an earth sign, it has a lot to do with our daily routine. So something that you may rely on religiously, ritualistically, something that you rely on every day or that's a staple in your life, you may be called to release it at this full moon. And the fact that this is a full moon lunar eclipse means that something may be eclipsed out of our lives. So whether you do it willingly by being intentional about, what needs to be released and actually releasing it, or if you let the universe do it for you, either way it's happening. So be prepared for that, okay? Next up, we have on March 15th, Mercury will be going retrograde in Aries. And this basically is a rewind of what I just said before. Mercury went into Aries on March 3rd. So you might have started something new, started a new conversation, new mindset, whatever. And now when Mercury starts its retrograde on March 15th, this is going to be your time to backtrack and really work this new thing. It's like the vision I'm getting right now is like a scientist in the lab or someone tinkering with something that they're building, right? You're taking the time to look over all of the details before you fully launch, okay? And so that's going to be the energy of this Mercury retrograde. Thereafter, on March 20th, we celebrate the new year with the sun moving into the sign of Aries. Okay, so wherever Aries is in your natal chart, this is where things are going to heat up. The sun is exalted in Aries. Okay, and so when the sun is in Aries, it gets hot, honey. It really activates the area of your chart that is governed by Aries. So take a look at that. And all of those topics are going to be activated in a very sort of intense way. Now, Aries can be combative, competitive, really passionate, driven, laser-like focus. And so when the sun goes into Aries, wherever Aries is in your chart, this is likely how you'll feel, or likely how you'll approach whatever things are covered under that Aries umbrella, okay? And if you're new to astrology, you're not sure about the houses, you don't necessarily know what everything means and pertains to your natal chart, I have a workshop that is contained in my free private community called Cosmic Collective that you can take to get a better understanding of your natal chart, all right? It's called your Cosmic Selfie. And again, it is contained within my free private online community. So if you're interested in joining, you not only get the workshop, but you get to commune with other people who are interested in astrology, astrology enthusiasts, and who are looking to learn how to use astrology in their daily lives. All right, so the link will be in the description box below. So definitely check it out and sign up. It's definitely lit over there. And there's so much that's coming in the future with respect to the community. So sign up now so you don't miss any of it. Okay. So thereafter, on March 27th, we have Venus retrograding back into Pisces. So Venus in Aries was very much about self-autonomy. It was very much about me and how relationships fit into my life and perhaps starting new things, not starting new things under the retrograde, but perhaps getting over fears or insecurities that prevent you from starting new things in terms of relationships and money. That was Venus retrograde in Aries. Now, with Venus going retrograde in Pisces, we are getting comfortable with love. Venus is exalted in Pisces and has a lot to do with love on a grand scale, love of humanity, romantic love, spiritual love. And those themes, particularly those themes and patterns from the past, will reemerge when Venus is retrograde in Pisces. So from March 27th until April 12th, that is when Venus will retrograde in Pisces. All right. And again, if you want to know more, that video link is in the description box below. Thereafter, on March 29th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. Okay. Now, what immediately came to mind, and this is a phrase that Spirit has been giving me a lot. It's like a donkey kick to the face. Okay. This energy of this solar eclipse is beginnings and endings all in one. Okay. That's sort of the flavor of new moons anyway. But this new moon solar eclipse is going to be the first new moon since November of 2024 that was focused on endings. So between November and February, all of the new moons were focused on endings, wrapping things up. The new moon in March, which happens to be a solar eclipse, is going to focus on new beginnings. Okay, it's going to focus on new beginnings. It's going to focus on starting new things. Now that's the beginning part of it. However, because this is an eclipse and because it's happening in Aries, it's actually closing out a cycle that began 18 months ago. So 18 months ago, we started having eclipses in Aries and Libra, okay? And this solar eclipse in Aries is the final eclipse of that chapter. So wherever Aries and Libra are in your chart, this is a story that's been playing out cosmically for the last 18 or let's say 19 or 20 months. That's when it started. It's now going to come to a crescendo and end in March. So there's an ending and a beginning wrapped up into one. And again, it's like a donkey kick to the face in the best way possible, I promise. All right. But again, I will have a dedicated video all on that where I will go into specifics. All right. That same day, we have Mercury going retrograde into Pisces. So I want you to pay attention to something that's happening this month. Mercury and Venus are kind of traveling together in the sky. They're not going to be at the exact same point, but they're both doing the same thing this month. They're going to be in Aries, and then they're going to start retrograding in Aries and then move into Pisces, okay? So Mercury in Pisces, it's really getting you to tap into your imagination, to dream, to visualize. And perhaps dreams, fantasies, visualizations from the past may come back around. Mercury in Pisces is great for heart-to-heart discussions. It's great for spiritual bonding with people. And so opportunities from the past that you may have missed or that you want to do over, you'll be able to do in the month of March when Mercury goes retrograde into Pisces. And that's going to happen at the end of the month. So that's going to be something to look out for. Okay. And then finally, we close out the month on March 30th with Neptune moving into Aries. This is big. Whenever any of the outer planets change signs, and by outer planets, I mean Jupiter for the most part, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, it's a big deal. So Neptune has been in Pisces, which is its home sign, for 12, 13 years, probably close to 13 to 14 years. It first went into Pisces back in 2011. Now, Neptune in its home sign, Pisces is a feminine receptive sign, and Neptune shine. Neptune was otherworldly when it was in Pisces. It allowed us to dream. It allowed us to really get into our spiritual bags, right? That is changing this year because now Neptune is going to move into fiery and masculine Aries. So those dreams we've been cultivating, that spirituality that we've been curating, we're going to put it to the test and take it out for a spin once Neptune goes into Aries. This is a very big deal. And of course, I'll be doing a dedicated video all about that as well. But come the end of the month, everything that's been stewing on the inside, all of that subconscious programming, everything that we've been cultivating in our inner worlds is now time for us to express that in a bold, unapologetic, and no fucks given kind of way. Okay. And this is just the tip of the iceberg with respect to this plethora of Aries energy that we have, not only in March, but in the months to come. March is the kickoff to 2025 and all of its splendor. And of course, it's the natural new year. So it makes sense that March would be a really dynamic month. All right, so that is the astrology in a nutshell. So now let's get a little more practical and let's talk about some tips that you may want to engage in, things that you may want to do, practically speaking, within the month of March. All right, so I love giving actionable tips because everything about my channel is not just about teaching you astrology or like throwing astrology jargon in your face. It's about helping you understand astrology to use it in your everyday life. The tagline for this channel is astrology and spirituality for everyday life. So I like to give actionable tips. So when it comes to the astrology for March, how can you best use the energy? All right, so this is what I have to offer. Number one, get honest about your relationships and your finances, okay? Venus will be retrograde this month, and that's kind of a big deal. Again, link is in the description box for the video, so check it out, all right? When you get serious and intentional about those things, but not only that, when you are honest about your current situation, that's when you can really make changes. And with Venus retrograde this year, the ability to make changes is at an all-time high. Like, if you're really looking to have an experience that is remarkably different from everything that you've experienced in the past, this is going to be the Venus retrograde that you want to affect those changes. But you have to be honest about where you're at. It's not just about, okay, what's in my bank account or, okay, am I single or coupled? It's like, okay, how do I really feel about relationships? One of the messages that I've gotten from Spirit, from various sources in the last couple of weeks is like, sometimes our subconscious beliefs can really stand in the way of the things that we want. So let's say you've been single for a long time. And of course, you want to have a companion, but for the most part, you enjoy your singlehood. You like your independence. There could really be a subconscious belief that if I'm in a relationship, I can't come and go as freely as I want to, or I'm going to have to check in with someone all the time. And as much as you want to be coupled, that belief of a lack of independence could possibly be standing in the way of you having a relationship. That's what I mean by getting honest, right? When it comes to money, right? Maybe you have these grandiose ideas and plans, but you really have a lack mentality, or maybe even you're afraid of success. Another thing I heard this week was like, let's say that, you're the forerunner in your family. Perhaps you're doing things that people in your family haven't done before. And maybe success evokes feelings of, I don't want to upstage anyone else. Or so-and-so tried that and it didn't work, and I don't want to make them feel bad if I try it and it works for me. These are some of the subtle nuances that are important when we're talking about making changes. So, like I said, the first tip, get honest about your relationships, your finances, how you feel about them, and the beliefs that surround them. All right. Number 2, be willing to take a risk. Okay. There's lots of Aries energy this month. Aries is fearless. It's unapologetic. It's bold. It's initiating. Now, we've had a couple of months of hibernation, right? We've been slow. We've been sleepy. We've been lethargic. We haven't done as much as we want to. The alarm has sounded, and it's time for us to get into action. Now, to have something you've never had before, you've got to do something you've never done before. And Aries supports this 100%. Okay? So when it comes to taking action this month, be a little risky. Aries is very much known for acting first and thinking later. Now, this is not to say that you should be reckless or even dangerous, but maybe you've got to kick yourself in your own ass in order to do something new, okay? So be willing to take a risk. And when you do it from a place of fearlessness. Don't take a risk and you're like, I don't know. No. Do it. Say it with your chest. Jump both feet in. Even if it doesn't seem like it's going to work, be willing to take a risk. It'll definitely pay off. Aries energy will support you in this. Okay? Number 3, rely on your wisdom. Okay? Now, Aries season begins the second half of March. From the first part of March, we are still in Pisces. Pisces, astrologically speaking, is often called the dustpan of the zodiac. It encompasses everything from Aries up to and including Pisces. And with that comes a certain sense of wisdom. You've experienced things, you've gone through things, and that experience has undoubtedly made you wiser. So with the retrogrades, with the dynamic energy, with the ability to start something new, even though you may be taking a bold risk and jumping head first, use your wisdom first. Your wisdom will carry you through. Your wisdom will help you make informed risks, if that's even a thing. But it'll definitely help you along the way. So tap into your wisdom. All right. So this month's pro tip, create one new healthy habit this month. All right. So I've talked in this video about the need to release, particularly around the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, right? Virgo has a lot to do with our daily habits and our daily routine. Now, if you are releasing something that you've relied on in your daily life, you'll want to replace it. But this time you'll want to replace it with something that is healthier, okay? Now, I just talked about relying on your wisdom. So your wisdom and your intuition will guide you with respect to what this new habit is. Now, don't try to do the most. Just stick to one habit. Create one new habit. Now, take a look at where Virgo is in your natal chart. This will let you know what area of life this habit could pertain to. All right. And if you want more help with this, definitely sign up for a natal chart reading or even a transit reading so I can sort of help you figure out which habit would be best according to your natal chart. All right. But either way, pick just one habit, a new healthy habit to start, and commit to it for at least 21 days. Okay. Now, the good thing about that is with the plethora of Aries energy this month, being driven, motivated, and really hyped about this new habit may be easier because Aries will give you that kick in the ass and the donkey kick in the face in order to create and stick to this new healthy habit. All right, my loves. So that is the astrology and everything else in a nutshell for the month of March 2025. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into March and beyond. All right, for information on all of my products and services, including the link to my private online community, Cosmic Collective, you will find all of that in the description box below, and everything pertinent is tagged to the video. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for March and beyond, and I will see you in my next video. All right, my loves, take care.